But you're probably wondering, and if you read the materials, you probably figured out by now, the theme of the breakfast is Breakfast in Paris, 1833. Now, 1833, something very important happened. There was a founding. Father? Okay. It is Father.
Yes, it is Father. Father Vincent, I am a priest.
Is there something we can help you with, a seat or anything?
I saw the signs out front saying that you were here for St. Vincent de Paul. Well, I am him. I am Vincent de Paul.
I'll take my
A humble French priest at your service. And I understand that you are here to experience a breakfast in Paris in 1833. Well, I spent my life in service to the Lord in the early 1600s, so I'm not very familiar with Paris or breakfast in 1833. However, I am aware that something very important happened that year. It was the year that the Society of St. Vincent de Paul was founded. But I'm getting a bit ahead. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. As a young French priest in France, I served both the rich and the poor. My parents were peasant farmers, so I was very familiar with the struggles of the poor. The rich, well, I consider it very comfortable living with the rich, administrating the wealthy and the well-connected. Part of me really wanted to spend my life as a priest, living exclusively to the rich and the famous. But my vows of poverty and obedience led me to focus on serving the poor families in the small villages in France. God's plan is always bigger than our own. He showed me how to use my connections with the rich to help the poor, connecting those with needs, and connecting me with the resources to meet those needs. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul took the same approach in Paris, 1883. And here they are now. They're Monsieur Frederic Ozanam and Sister Rosalie Rendu. I leave you now in their capable hands.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Antoine Frederic. Oh, pardon, we are in America. I should be addressing you in English. My apologies. Good morning, and welcome to Breakfast in Paris, 1833. My name is Antoine Frederic Ozanam, and in 1833, I was a law student at the University of Paris. With me is Sister Rosalie Rendu, a member of the Order of the Daughters of Charity. Sister Rosalie and her order serve the poorest of poor in Paris, and she is a fellow founder of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
Good morning, and the blessings of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Now, Frederic, let's be clear with everyone. We were not the only founders of the society. There were several of us, many of whom were drawn to the cause of helping the poor by you and your deep faith. Now, as Frederic mentioned, my order, the Daughters of Charity, were focused on people living in the slums of Paris. With the help from God, we focus specifically on the sick and the hungry, especially those dealing with cholera and other epidemics of the time. Our order was founded by none other than St. Vincent de Paul.
Oh, Sister Rosalie, you are much too humble. Ladies and gentlemen, Sister Rosalie has dedicated decades of her life to the poor of Paris. She was well known and sought out by both the most powerful and the most desperate. To use a term that's more common in your time, Sister Rosalie would be the Mother Teresa of the Paris slums.
And you, Monsieur, were nothing but a lowly college student when you helped form the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Now you, Frederic, are being too humble. Frederic was blessed with a wonderful family and a brilliant mind. How brilliant, you might ask? Well, as a teenager, Frederic studied English, Hebrew, German, and several other languages before joining the University of Paris to study law. While in Paris, he formed a group of intellectuals who discussed and debated on philosophical topics of the day. Imagine that, a 20-year-old student leading successful older men in such an endeavor. Truly remarkable.
Well, I had wonderful mentors that took me under their wing when I arrived in Paris. But yes, my parents were wonderful, godly role models. My father was a doctor who served and prayed with both rich and poor patients. We found out after his death that he often served the poor patients at his own expense, just like the Good Samaritan. And my mother, what a wonderful woman, she gave birth to me and 13 of my siblings. only to lose 11 in childhood. While others might grow bitter or angry, she chose instead to join the Night Watchers, a group of women who serve their nights serving the sick and terminally ill of poor families in Lyon.
But the apple does not fall far from the tree, Frederic. Your commitment and faith to helping the poor was clearly a gift of mercy from your parents. But you took that gift and brought others with you, creating a process and an organization that's helped the struggling individuals and families for almost 200 years. Why don't you tell these supporters of St. Vincent de Paul in Naples how it all started?
Well, Sister Rosalie, that group of intellectuals you mentioned were called the Conference of History, and several members of this organization challenged us to tell them in detail how the Catholic Church was helping the poor of Paris. After looking into the matter, we found out that more should and could be done for the poor. But instead of demanding more from the Church, we, as followers of our Lord Jesus Christ, demanded more of ourselves. We asked ourselves, what did the Lord do when he spread the gospel? He went to the poor. So our motto became, let us go to the poor. Just as God has provided for us, we should provide for the poor. As upper and middle class men, we had very little experience dealing with or visiting with the poor. So we came to Sister Rosalie to help us develop a process for visiting with poor families, understanding their needs and situations, developing a plan, and finding and delivering the resources needed to help them.
Yes, if a family needed food, money, or firewood, Frederic and his colleagues would seek out those God blessed with the resources and ask them for help. Together, we would deliver the resources to the families and ensure it was used exactly as needed.
Jesus said there will always be the poor among you, and we know that in every community there will be people in need. We must ensure that this need is genuine and that the resources be appropriate to address that need. Therefore, we must strive to be good stewards, both in accepting donations and giving assistance.
Now, Naples in Collier County is not Paris in 1833, excuse me, but your community has individuals, families, and seniors who are facing financial, health troubles, as well as suffering through natural disasters, floods and fires, and other dangers. Through God's grace and guidance, dedicated volunteers and community members like yourselves, we continue the legacy of Frederic Ozanam and Sister Rosalie by providing the right needs at the right time to our neighbors in need. Thank you for supporting the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in Naples and Collier County.